Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ayleen, and welcome to Medicine Walk. And first off, I want to just kind of reach out and wish everybody who's going through some challenging times right now, just send them a little bit of love, because I know that there's some folks who are going through some difficult times, and know that my thoughts are with you, my heart is with you, and I hope that everything works out really for your best and highest good, and that whatever process you're going through, that it be as gentle as possible. There's some folks with some health issues going on, and there's some folks with some kind of challenges of, stepping up and standing up for themselves. And those can really be tough. And it can be really easy to get sucked into what isn't happening, and kind of forget that there's always an opportunity to look at something from the perspective of, you know what, I may be going through this, but these are the things that I've got in my favor, and to be able to focus on that. So for those of you who are going through it, blessings, and and we'll move on. So welcome. And today I called this time. And the reason I said that is because we all have an opportunity. We all have that inner light. We all have the chance to make this world a better place. There's an old saying that talks about being a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. And that is really a wonderful thing to be able to do. And it's surprising how easily we can kind of slip down that slippery slope into maybe contributing more to the problem than we do the solution. And there's a lot going on in the world that are definitely big challenges. And one of the things that I really encourage people to do is to step back and take a breath. When something happens, when something comes into your field that really sets you off, take a moment to think about it, and think about where that lives in you, and what is it that's triggering that so much for you. And by taking a look at that first, it can dial back some of the reaction and allow you to come from a place of choosing action. And lately there's been a lot on YouTube and on Facebook. Now, YouTube and Facebook, I think, are both really wonderful things. And I think it allows an opportunity for people to connect across the planet and to share what they're going through, and to share wisdom, and to teach things. And those are all really awesome things. And maybe it's just something that makes us all laugh. And there's light and shadow in everything. And I've really been struck lately by how often people are placing things out there that aren't really serving to build anything up, but to kind of take away. And down to, from just maybe some kind of snarky things that people say, to some truly horrific and horrible things people are posting, that people are putting out into the world, that don't belong there. And I mean, it's horrible enough to perform some of these actions, but to put it out as some form of entertainment or attention getting, which in my mind, it's about, they want attention for this, and that's not okay. And it really hurts my heart when I hear about it. And I'd say that pretty much qualifies as a really big problem. Now, the solution part. Well, first, if somebody's putting out something that really is not, it doesn't bring things up. It doesn't, I mean, and that's not saying that people can't post things that are serious or sad or hard, because those are the things we learn from. It's how that gets put out there. And if somebody is just like being mean, or being judgmental or whatever, yes, they have an absolute right to do that. And everybody else has the right not to buy into it. And if there's something that somebody posts that it's, you know, just something horrific that doesn't serve anything, it doesn't create dialogue, it doesn't say, you know, wow, this is something that, you know, that we need to talk about. It's not just about someone with an opposing view. But if it's just meanness, if it's just something that is about dividing people for the sake of creating chaos, I don't share it and I don't look at it. And there's a term on YouTube that it's called clickbait. And it's designing either a picture or a title that will draw you into something, and then you click on it and it's, you know, either something that's not good or it's not what it represents to be. Well, yeah, they've got a right to do that. And you have every right not to click on it, not to share it. Because if the whole point of people doing stuff like this is putting it out there so that other people will pay attention to it. I mean, even if you comment to them and say, hey, you know, that was horrible and da-da-da-da, and you're a jerk. Well, that's giving into attention. That's giving them attention. And if, you know, I have had cases where stuff like that has kind of come across, you know, my doorstep. And usually I will private message the person and say, you know what, this was not okay. I took the image off, and I would really appreciate it if, you know, you wouldn't send me things like that or post things like that, you know, in a public arena, because these are very, very, very public places. The idea of privacy is pretty much almost non-existent now. And when people put something out that is going to go out to the entire World Wide Webiverse, and it's something that takes away. It's something that, you know, shock value. I mean, they may have a meaning to go behind it, and maybe they want to share it because they're outraged by it, or maybe it really means something to them and it reveals a truth, and that's okay. And if it's just something that plays into really, you know, just the darker side of things, the more chaotic or just plain hurtful, yeah, it's, what does it serve? A saying that talks about the three things you should consider before you say anything. And I think these very much apply to before you post anything. First off, is it necessary? Just because someone posts a view that's in opposition to yours and it stirs you up, it may not be necessary for you to respond, because you're probably not going to change their mind anyway. But if you do respond, can it be a measured response? Or are you responding like from that place of emotion? And is it necessary to do it publicly, or can you private message them? But first off, is it necessary? Second, is it true? Is what you're about to say or what you're about to share something that, as far as you know, to the best of your knowledge, it's true? And yeah, it's hard sometimes, because when headlines come across and they provoke, and I've been guilty of this myself. I did this myself once, where something came across and it just, oh my gosh, this is just horrible. And so I responded, and it turned out that that particular article was not true. And while I justified to myself, it's like, well, the person that it was written about or that it referenced, they would do something like that, and they have said worse. But that did not excuse me not doing my due diligence and saying, hey, I mean, usually I run things through Snopes, which is a fact-checking website, and you know, it's really pretty good. I've been, you know, checking into that for a few years now, and I pretty much find the stuff there to be really consistent. But use something to fact check before you become a part of the mass effect of it. Now, the third, is it kind? And that one is interesting because for me, sometimes you have to say something and maybe it's not so kind, but it's the truth and it's necessary. But you can say it in the kindest way possible. You can tell somebody, you know what? I see where you're coming from, and I understand it, and you have every right to feel that way. And do you really think this is necessary to do in this way, to respond in this way, to act out in this way? And it can be tricky, especially if it's a close relationship. And there's a lot we can say as kindly as we can, without having it be coming from a place of judgment, a place where the person is hurting, where we feel it's like, okay, you said something and now I'm going to just, really embarrass you or humiliate you or whatever. I'm going to react as strongly as I feel you're reacting. All that creates is opposition. It creates a situation where it's just, one pushing against the other. And I know we've all seen it where one person will state something, then someone will respond, and then, they jump back. And so it becomes like one thread after another that just goes along in one entry, and then, it escalates. It always escalates. And it usually escalates to somewhere where we really don't need to go. So when you consider, is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind, or as kind as it can be? If you're going to post something about you're just not feeling good, you're having a really bad day, or you're really upset about something, you can say, you know what, I'm really upset over this particular situation, and state what it is that's upsetting you. And just kind of open it up, like, I really could use some support. I could really use some clarity. And then, the people who love you, the people who care about you, they will respond in a supportive manner for the most part. If not, then, that's time to go to private message and say, hey, what's up with that? Having things, go on as texts and things like that, it's wonderfully convenient. And at the same time, it really opens things up to misinterpretation. A lot can happen between, the thought of writing something out and how it's received on the other side. It's like the idea that if somebody forgot to take caps lock off and they write all in caps, it's like, oh, wow, they're yelling. And it may just be that the person, likes to write all in capital letters. But it suddenly goes through the filter of, hey, they're yelling at me. What did I do? And then the reaction comes back. So when we consider the idea of our communication with one another, which is a tremendously beautiful thing, I consider the ability to communicate with one another one of the greatest gifts that we have. To be able to listen and be listened to. That's wonderful. That can resolve so much when we just sit down and listen to one another. And oh, by the way, that is it necessary? Is it kind? That is the most important thing when we're having those discussions with ourselves, when we're looking in the mirror, when we're judging ourselves as maybe that we didn't do such a good job at something, or that we're not doing as well as we think, and we can be real hard with ourselves. So I suggest that when that dialogue starts up and you think about what you're saying to yourself, what you're projecting on yourself, is it necessary? Is it true? And is it kind? And really, because you deserve that. You deserve kindness. You deserve compassion. None of us are perfect. Absolutely none of us are perfect. We all mess up on things. We all have things that we have as strengths, and we all have things that we have as weaknesses. And it's not important, how well you do something, as long as you do your best. We are not meant to succeed at everything. But if we can do our best to make a best effort, figure out what didn't work, figure out what did, and then use that to grow. And then use that to share with other people. So maybe somebody else doesn't make the same mistake we do. All of these things add to your shine. They add to that light inside you. And when that builds up, it's almost like you can't help but want to do something nice for someone. Maybe let somebody ahead of you in the checkout line who has less than you, or maybe they've got more, but they've also got like 2 or 3 kids who are obviously very sick of being in the store. You know, you let them go ahead of you, and it's like, no, you can get the kids out of here. It's okay. Or sitting and listening to somebody if they're going through a tough time. If you see somebody that looks really tired, and and you've got some time on your hands, and you're in a space where you can listen, you say, "Hey, are you okay? You want to talk about it?" Because sometimes we all need somebody to talk to. We all need somebody to talk things out with. That's a part of your shine. To celebrate with those who have overcome something, or who are making a big effort. Often we have people who come and speak at the church, and sometimes it's their first time speaking. And being there to bear witness for them, to show them that, that I'm paying attention to them, to get up afterwards and congratulate them. That's a really cool thing, and it makes me feel really great as I see them kind of step out of their shell and start to really step up to who they can be. And public speaking is hard. So when somebody does it, I definitely, want to give them the thumbs up and a lot of encouragement. That's a way we shine, when we're there for others. We shine by allowing other people to hold whatever opinion they want. Yes, some things are really tough to kind of go, okay, that is your opinion, because there's some folks with opinions out there that I personally have no idea where those came from. But they belong to them, and they have a right to them. Now, what they believe, it's not to agree with or disagree with, in that I need to change them. Their words, their point of view, I know is not going to change me. I may think about it, and if there's something of value in it, it's like, oh, well, I didn't, that's something to think about. But as far as if it's really something I'm opposed to, they can talk as much as they want. I'm going to stay pretty entrenched, and it's like, nope, can't go there with you. No, no. But as my mom used to say, if you love it, I love it for you. But I don't necessarily love it for me. So by allowing people to enter a dialogue where they can actually sit and talk and be understood, and maybe they said something, but they wanted to clarify it, to let people clarify when they've said something, or when, when they've reacted to something. It's important, because we all do it. And we all appreciate when somebody lets us off the hook. And, well, okay, yeah, I get what you were saying. Rather than just sit, it's like, well, they said this, or they reacted this way, and so forever they are just, they're not my buddy anymore, or whatever. We all go there, and we're all misunderstood. And we all have views that somebody else will really adamantly be opposed to. But that doesn't mean that we can't communicate. It doesn't mean that we can't hear each other out. And even if it means, well, our politics are on 2 separate ends of the spectrum, but I really enjoy, watching a football game with this person. Or, well, on this social issue or this economic issue, we could not be more apart. But we really like seeing old movies together. So if there's someone in your life that, you're not going to see eye to eye on everything. But if you take that one thing away, one in your life. And most of the time, the answer will be yes. So by understanding that everybody has their own point of view on a lot of different things. So what you can do is just set some boundaries and say, okay, I can accept you for exactly who you are, and I know you accept me for exactly who I am. And we can find the things where we have common ground and enjoy the heck out of those. That's how we shine. We shine when we want to be a part of the solution. And maybe a part of that solution is just sitting quietly while someone talks about what their point of view is. Not that it's going to change you, but allowing them to be them, allowing them to be heard, because we all like to be heard. We all like to be understood. And I find that even people who I disagree with, we can get along because ultimately I care for them and understand that we're not going to agree on everything. It is really cool to be human. And it's really cool to be able to feel all the things that we feel and experience all the things we experience, from great successes to, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that type of, situations. But when it ultimately ends up, I think the scales end up pretty even. And as long as you look around and think, you know what, maybe I can make somebody's day better today. Maybe I can smile at a stranger. Maybe I can, I don't know, if I see a stray dog that's wearing a collar and it's nice and, it's not dangerous or anything, maybe say, hey, I can take the time to see if I can figure out who the dog belongs to. Maybe I can sit with someone who is talking about a huge spiritual moment for them, and whether their way resonates with mine, I can celebrate their moment with them. Or maybe it's when somebody is asking, well, do you think I should stand up for myself? And you say yes, and encourage them to. That's a good thing. We interact with each other. We help each other. We challenge each other. And it's all okay, because we always have an opportunity to shine. And, people will say, it's like, well, these are really tough times. It takes more energy to shine, which is not true. If you light a candle in a well-lit room, you'll see it, but it won't really radiate that much. But you turn off all the lights in that room, and that candle just is the center of everything. It's very clear. The candle doesn't work any harder when it's dark, but when it's dark, it stands out more. When times are tough, when there's a lot of challenges in believing in the ultimate good of people, it's those moments when the light shines brightest. It's those moments when we shine brightest. It's those moments when we have the opportunity to help others shine too. Because that's the greatest thing about shining. When you come from your heart, when you trust, when you can look at somebody and say, hey, we're going to be okay. We got this, and we're going to do it together. Then you can see that light start to perk up in someone else's eyes. And they want to go out and do something, and they want to encourage someone. And maybe it's just about starting off looking in the mirror, saying, you know what? Not so bad. We got this. I've got this. I can do this. And I can do it in a way that helps other people to feel that much better about themselves. Each and every one of us have the ability to shine. And it's not as much work as you think. And it doesn't require that much. All it requires is a willingness to be a light in the darkness. It is the desire not to get caught up in what a lot of people are putting out, which is some pretty heavy, hard, kind of unhappy stuff. And like I said, it really saddens me when I think about amazing way to reach out to the whole world. And There are people utilizing it just to put out stuff that hurts, to say things that are unkind. You got the chance, and I mean, and all these beams are being beamed out into space to go out into the whole universe. Is that what we want? Is that what we want, to go out? Yes. You should always be authentic. You should always speak your truth. And if you're feeling authentically not okay and venting, I am a very strong supporter of venting. I think venting is good. And everything has a consequence. So in considering, okay, how can I vent in a way that will allow me to say what I need to say, and yet still allow me to hold my shine? Because you don't have to lose your shine by venting. You can just be authentic and say, you know what, there's something that's really bothering me. And say what's bothering you. And then, you can finish off with, I know that it's because of my story that it's bothering me, but can I get some support to be able to, please send out some good thoughts for me to be able to work through this so that I can shine again. Sometimes the light dims a little bit when things get heavy, but it doesn't go out. We all shine. And I would love to see that if at some point, if you're on Facebook, just put down for your status, today I shine. And I encourage others to shine too. And I'm going to be putting that in on the Facebook page. Today I shine, and I encourage others to shine too. Because when we all shine, it's amazing. We keep each other safe. We make the world a better place. We make it a kinder place. And all it has to do with is to look into yourself, find that light, and shine. So, thank you for joining me. And if you want to leave comments for this video, awesome. I love comments. I answer the comments as quickly as I can. You can also reach me through Twitter, and you can reach me through my Facebook page, which is Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen, and you can join the group and you can comment there, and we build community. And if you found value in this, then you can share it if you feel that it has value, if you feel that it adds to the solution and not the problem. And you can subscribe, which is very cool. It's always fun to, to be able to connect with those who subscribe. And if you click the little notification bell, then you will be notified whenever anything is being posted up. So thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. And I really hope that you have an opportunity to go out there and shine. And, oh, Monica. Hi, Monica. Well, I'm glad you love it. I'm glad you enjoy it. And, you take care of yourself and know that, I'm thinking about you, as well as Alexandra and Carolyn and Michelle and Kaina and all those who are a part of my world and are working hard to do their best. You guys all shine. You shine, Monica. And really, I think that that's one of the best things we get to do. So post on your Facebook status, I shine. And as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. Bye.